be upon you. I'd like to start by openly bearing witness. There's nothing worthy of worship but the life giver. And there's none like him. I know that because his last messenger, Muhammad, was successful in letting me learn that. Okay. I'm supposed to welcome you, and it is an honor and a privilege. I was born in the USA over 60 years ago, and I feel I've got a good chunk of the 20th century under my belt. I was very active in college during the 60s. I watched us evolve as a nation, and it is a continual process. I'd like to quote one of my mentors who said, "The common essence of society is the human nature." I wrote that down. This is always a very thing. The cornerstone of society is the common essence of humanity. And I wanted to share that because that's what this room reflects. We talk about interfaith and ecumenical and getting to know each other. And in reality, it's an on the ground, you are my neighbor kind of thing. And the prophet taught us that we have to be good to our neighbors near and far as a part of just being a human being. And I think of that when I think of this cultural center because it's a place for you to find out what your greatest hopes or dreaded fears are. Just come and ask. And don't have fears about coming and asking, because the thing that makes humans different is our ability to use our brains. And we are in a culture that is so technology oriented that we tend to let the ideas that come at us think for us. Bad idea. I've learned from personal experience with many of you in this room that if I just sit down and listen, I could learn so much more than any fear could throw out there. And it is a beautiful experience to realize that, for example, the environment will get better when we work at it together. And that's just one example of many truths. The subject I was told to use, and this is 5 minutes, so don't panic. The subject I was told to use was from slavery to active citizenship. And that's why I started out talking about being born in the USA and having had many experiences in Virginia, in the segregated South of Virginia, by the way. And I have continued to learn. I have learned to appreciate myself and others. And that's a slowdown. We live in a very fast-paced society, but that's why heart attacks are so prevalent. Stress and strokes kill us. We need to learn to live at the pace of the life giver. And I say that because relative to the history of that building across the street that is the Islamic Society of Boston's Cultural Center, is the reality that everything takes time. I mean, the 9 months for a baby is one kind of time, but what was it, 1863 that the Emancipation Proclamation was delivered, and then we had many, many years of stress right up until now on some levels. But we also have African American in the White House. And it was an overwhelming effort for change. And I think the reality of hope is human. And when we nurture that and give ourselves, I love what Dr. Graham said about, in the end, let's just outrace each other in goodness and see who's the best and represents the best. And do it with love and not hate. I mean, I think it's so easy to realize, especially now that we've had this experience of a recession of sorts, to understand that people hurt, cry, have greed and larceny and murder and love and consideration as they understand their own human essence. We need to get it together as a human family. The unity that is what flows through my understanding of Islam says that we are not divisive, not because everybody's great. I'm with Dr. Graham again. I am not excited about what we call interfaith on the level of hypocrisy, and I'm sure most of the theologians in the room understand exactly what I'm talking about. You gotta shut your mouth and be polite until it's your turn. And I think it's just better to agree on issues that need all of us, like not destroying the earth before our children or grandchildren have a chance to make their own contribution. I think to be civic is not to abdicate your right to have input. And we really invite you to do that with us in the ISBCC in many ways. And they don't have to be, I think we should be honest and understand that we are who we are, but first and foremost, we are created. Nobody had control of whether they wake up or not this morning, but someone permitted it. We think of the Supreme Being as the one that should get our attention and help us to be motivated to do what is good and right. Many people feel they know, but if we look at history, once society begins to fall, it's because they know. And as Dr. Graham said in Arabic, Allah, or God knows. Thank you.